I mean, I'm already over 3 million this year in annuities, which is phenomenal. My goal is five. Hopefully, I'll get that before the end of the year. I got a few more to work on, but I do it very intentionally because I ask these questions every single time.
So okay, so let's jump into some actual sales, and you're doing it in person, and people can take. I want you to don't cater it to the virtual people, cater it to what you do because that's where you're going to be the most comfortable. And if you sell virtual, then just apply this. But you said earlier that you really dig into the financial inventory. So I'd love if you'd kind of do your sit down and open and taking control, which you kind of touched on, but just maybe how you flow, and then what do you do in that financial inventory that has allowed you to nearly I mean, basically double your production from last year, from 2 years, and then go up another
Sure.
50% this year. What are you doing in
Well,
that?
I'm
Um,
going to show you. So here's what I use. And this is pretty much the same thing we've had for years. I don't know if anybody can see it, but this is my client worksheet. It's very, very simple. It has all the medical information on there, all the nitty-gritty stuff, right?
okay.
And I simply sit down. I'll put their name on there. I'll put their date of birth. I'll ask, hey, what do you do for work, Grady? I do whatever. What's your monthly take-home income? It's this. And then I ask the wife the same thing. If there's a spouse present, what does that look like? Then what I will do is before I continue, I flip the sheet over, and then I also ask them for all of their household expenses. I need to find a budget here because if we're guessing and they tell you, oh well, my household expenses are 7 grand, I make 10. They're most likely guessing that. They don't know it. 99% of people are second guessing their income versus their expenses. So write that down. Go through all of their financial inventory with them. Hey, what's your mortgage? It's this. What's your utility bills look like? It's that. Car payments, insurance, savings, groceries, kids expenses. These are all expenses that they need to see visually so that you can understand how much insurance can I truly get for them and not second guess if it's going to be a $200 a month premium. Next, it gets canceled the next month because it's insufficient funds. When you do it thoroughly, you're able to truly get a full grasp of what's available. Maybe they're saving $1,000 a month, but they don't have an IUL and they're perfectly healthy. You can allocate half of that into an IUL. Same thing with 401ks. Find out what their 401k contributions are. If their company's matching 5, but they're putting in 10, have them allocate that extra 5 into an IUL so they're not losing it. There's a lot of ways to figure it out, but you have to be very thorough, Grady, with the expenses and the income that's on the sheet. Then the second thing, you go through all the health stuff, ask them all the questions. And if you ever had any of your following, COPD, cancer, diabetes, blah, everything that's listed on here, I ask. And then ask them for the medications. If they have a list of them, pull it out. If they don't have a list, but they know what it is, write down what it is. And I also use insurance toolkits, Grady. I don't know if your team does or not. I love that stuff because it's phenomenal. It's the first thing I pull up. Even though you and I both know a lot of the stuff from the back of our head, it's like, oh, we memorized all the medications and conditions. We know what carrier will take them. I will still plug it in to make sure I'm doing the right thing. So I'll plug in their medical conditions, their medications, their height, their weight into the insurance toolkit so I know which carrier to go directly with. And then I'll look at it and say, okay, we have maybe 3 options, and I'm going to write down all the 3. If option A doesn't work, we can go to option B. If option B doesn't work, we'll go to the last resort. And here's the most important thing.
You're using that as almost you're showing them this.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's very verifiable third party credibility. You see the carriers we have. You see I put your information, everything you told. Like, I mean, this isn't me just picking random, Bob's Insurance out of Cedar Rapids. Like, these are the carriers that, you know, all huge names, $100 billion companies that you could qualify for. Oh, there's only one you can qualify for. Listen, Betty, this is where we're at today. You can, you know, the, I love that. I love using third party credibility because I remember I would do a box sometimes and they were like, I
Yep.
want the best, and I would box them and I'd be like, okay, you get living benefits of this one, you get half living benefits of this one, you get no living benefit. And like, it's just me kind of pulling up a quote tool on my iPad. But when you're showing them this
Yeah.
visual presentation of what they can qualify for, well, why should I pay 87 when I can pay 82? Well, there's this 82's got significantly more stringent guidelines than the 87. I have a better feel we get the 87 we can try the 82, but if you're worried about it getting declined, which then might keep us from possibly getting the 87, then we might just want to start with the 87. And if we get it, then we can, I mean, you pick how your sales process goes, but I love
Exactly.
you use that.
And yeah, I use it every time. And I'll make, okay, well, it looks like Mary, based on your current medical stuff, we have three options, three cares that could potentially work. We're going to submit with one, and we'll go down the line with the next one until one says yes. But relatively, that's how I do it, Grady. I literally have it in front of me so they see it, and I show them. Well, all of these are grayed out. You can't go with any of these, and he'll tell you why. I know you want Mutual of Omaha, but they don't want this. They don't want to accept that risk part on your behalf that you have COPD. They don't approve it, but Aetna will. And that's when I pivot to like Aetna, for example. That's a powerful tool that's really changed my business and my process in home structure, Grady. And then the most important thing on the inventory sheet, this is something that I'm really kind of baffled a lot of people are not doing, asking for money. Like the 401k stuff, the IRAs, the TSPs. Our annuity volume is actually down compared to last year. Our life volume is up. So, which tells me one thing: we have too many agents that are very transactional and not intentional about protecting all of their financial assets, not just the life insurance policy, but everything else. And which brings me to the conversation right now: is how many of you are actually asking the golden ticket question? Hey, Grady, if you God forbid, unexpectedly pass away tomorrow, what other financial assets that your wife can potentially inherit on your behalf tomorrow? Do you have any 401ks, TSP, mutual funds, brokerage accounts, anything along those ways that your wife will be entitled to? Oh, yeah, I have a brokerage account. Great. Is she the beneficiary on that? No, she's not. Great. That's going to go into probate. And she won't have access to it until she has an attorney gets out of probate. Here's how we can avoid that by putting it over here into an FIA because it avoids probate. Um, I write these things down and I uncover a lot of money, Grady. I mean, I'm already over 3 million this year in annuities, which is phenomenal. My goal is five. Hopefully, I'll get that before the end of the year. I got a few more to work on, but I do it very intentionally because I ask these questions every single time. I had a gentleman yesterday I met with. He did not want to pay $150 a month for 10 grand of coverage, but he has a $61,000 mutual fund sitting at a brokerage company that we're going to roll over. That's going to be his life insurance, and he's going to get $10,000 as a bonus added on top of it, which will pay it up for the life insurance. So you have to be intentional because if you can't help them on a life insurance side, you can potentially help them in an investment side. And this is where a lot of agents are missing these steps. They just want to get the quick sale, move on, call the next client, get paid, move on. Guess what? I will come in, I will find out you missed out a step, I will take that annuity over. And now you missed out on a huge potential base. I had that happen to a client of mine recently. She met with an FFL agent 2 years ago. He got her a policy with Prosperity Life Group, still in place because that's the only thing she could qualify for, and we left that alone. But he left out 640,000 in annuities.
Oh my gosh.
640 grand. I rolled all three of those policies over.
What was it? Where was it at?
It was sitting with Prudential. It was sitting, yeah, they were actually all with Prudential, and they were all in a variable account, not even a fixed account. So
What was her goal with the money? Just for people to learn a little bit more. Create an
they
income
just
stream
want,
or just
so they're going to, so it was basically most of it's going to sit there until they require minimal distribution. They couldn't even touch it. They didn't have a 10% access to it, which is crazy. So for her, and here's the sad part, I wrote I wrote these in May on husband and wife. The husband just passed a month ago,
oh man.
and that was his was 175,000 value. So I'm actually meeting with her tonight to start the claims process, and we're going to roll that death benefit into another annuity for her to help her preserve it long term. But here's the thing: he couldn't qualify for life insurance because he had early on dementia when I met him, and he died because of dementia because it just progressed very aggressively in a matter of 3 months, and he passed unexpectedly. So for her, that was huge because she lost his income, she lost his pension, she was not vested in it. $3,600 a month is gone,
Got
and
it.
she's only going to keep 2,600 a month from his Social Security.
So are you
And
going to then turn an income spigot on with the 175? Is that kind of part of the plan?
no, so we're gonna. So thankfully, with some of the annuity products, with the 10% free withdrawal option, she's gonna start pulling from some of her own, and she's gonna leave this one as a long-term legacy for herself.
Got it.
So we're kind of prolonging all three together, so she has lifetime income, generationally as well. So we're just trying to preserve as much as we can. So she's still working. She's 65. She's still employed, and we're just trying to help her prolong that. She doesn't want to get rich overnight. She doesn't want to burn it all. She just wants to make sure she has enough to live off every month. And between everything she has from her two accounts and now his, it's going to be like three times more than enough for her to survive on moving forward. So we're just working along those lines. But this wouldn't have happened if I didn't ask the questions.
Yeah.
Another FFL agent wrote a life insurance policy 2 years ago that I didn't even want to replace. Honestly, it was a good policy. But I asked, "Hey, what else do you have?" "Well, I have this," and she pulled out a big folder with all their accounts, and that's how I was able to help them out. So you need to ask those questions because the middle class who are still employed, who worked hard for their money, have some kind of retirement cushion. It's either a 401k or it's somewhere with an investor like Edward Jones. You got Vanguard, you got Fidelity, you got Charles Schwab. All of these guys are in some kind of mutual fund investment, and some of these clients have that. Or if they're a government employee or former government employee, they have a TSP. But so you have to educate yourself on the rules and guidelines, what can be transferred, what can't be transferred. But man, a lot of agents miss these steps, Grady. I don't know why, but I love annuities because I love helping people in that financial aspect. But at the same time, it's a bonus payout to me as a producer. I treat it as an extra bonus because hey, it's a big chunk of money that comes into deposit, lump sum, and now I can put back into the business, go on vacation, do this, do that. That's what I love about it. We're not just a life insurance sales organization, we're a full financial organization in many different ways. And we have those solutions. It's crazy though, because many years ago, Grady, like I always wanted to be in stockbrokering,
Yeah.
but then I learned what stocks were all about as I got older. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be a stockbroker. But I'm doing it in a much more meaningful way now through this side of the business than anything else. But I encourage everybody who's watching it, who will be watching this, ask those questions. What do you have that can act like life insurance? You never know what you'll uncover. So, but that's the big takeaway by doing that financial inventory. You got to be very, very detailed every single time. Dude, I've been using this for 7 years.
Yeah.
7 years. Do I need to use it? I can do this with my eyes closed, but I still use it because it creates structure. And when they see that I'm writing things down, they know that it's business. It's not just, oh, I'm taking notes or I'm mentally taking notes. I'm writing things down as I go, just like you are taking notes now.
Yeah.
That's how we learn. That's how we learn about the client, and that's how they'll see, hey, this person's going to potentially help me out with my case here.
That's awesome, Dean. So, all right, as we capstone this awesome training, final advice you've got for these agents out there that are watching, going to watch this, to go out there and make it happen. You started $400 in your pocket first year, just basic, probably, doing better than you were doing, but not what was possible. And now to fast forward to what you've been able to accomplish. What's some parting words you've got for everybody out there?
Honestly, the biggest thing that I encourage everybody to do is believe in themselves. And if you have work ethic and you know what you already accomplished in the past, no matter where you worked before, apply that same work ethic here and you will not lose. The only time you'll lose is if you stop. That's it. There's no other way. Like you harm yourself by not doing what's taught to you, right? We have everything, Grady. I mean, we've had the craziest resources I've ever seen as a company as far as knowledge at no cost. Like you can talk to anybody in our organization and ask, "Hey, how do you do this? What did you do here?" And people will share that with you. I learned, Grady, by asking questions. I talked to you, I talked to other people, I talked to this producer, I talked to that manager. I called Sean, Mike, hey, Sean, what would you do here? He goes, stop doing this, start doing that. I'm like, cool, got it, let's go. And listen to the advice that's given to you. Don't just like let it go by. take the advice and apply it, because that's going to help you get better. It may not help you get better today, but eventually there will become a point in time it's going to come back and be like, oh yeah, I heard that before. Let me apply it. I used a lot of I love Eric Schmidt's, like when he used to do a lot of like trainings on in-home process. I
Yeah.
watched his videos on. I would drive to appointments and listen to his videos to like listen to like word track, and I'm like, I'm gonna say that at my next appointment. I did. I'm like, holy crap, that worked.
Yeah.
Stuff works when you use it. And another thing is, I tell everybody, don't get emotional about it. This is not a personal thing here. It's a business thing. Don't let emotions twist you and ruin your ability to help somebody. If you have issues in your personal life, don't translate that energy to over the phone. Don't translate it in person if they're at someone else's house. Close that door until you finish with them. Help them out because they need you for your help, and make sure you help them out. Make it about them, not about you. When you make it about the client, you're going to be okay. But when you start making it about you, man, that's when you ruin yourself. I used to sit here at Green, my very first appointment years ago. I'm like calculating the commission while I'm filling out the application. Next thing you know, the app's declined because I made it about me, right? Stop making it about yourself. This is bigger than you. And that's my final advice.
Amen, bro. Hey, everyone, drop 1,000 in the chat below to show Dean some love and cheer him on. Going for that gold jacket this year. No doubt in my mind he's going to hit it. And on top of that, he might even win another car. Who knows? Are you blacklisted from the car this year?
No, I'm not blacklisted, but I'm also not like being crazy about participating on on that level on applications again. I'm gonna let somebody else have their glory on stage. That was a crazy moment, man, and the reason it was so emotional was because that was a full circle moment. Because in Dallas 6 years prior to that, I was broke. Here I am 6 years later, winning a freaking car from one of the top companies here. That was an amazing moment, man. I mean, really emotional on that level. It wasn't even about the car; it was more about the full circle moment.
It's awesome.
That's what was really important to me.
No greater guy earned it, man. So we appreciate you guys. Keep filling up with 1,000 down there. Show Dean some love. And Dean is tremendous, great value, great insight, great everything. You know what you're doing. So everyone out there that's going, what could I do to improve my business? Watch this video 5 times. Take notes on what Dean says. Learn the magic word tracks that help clients feel comfortable and confident to move forward, and you're on your way. So Dean, appreciate the heck out of you, bro. Thanks a ton, and we'll have you
Dude,
on again soon. We'll have you on when you hit that 1,000. We'll have you on at the end of the year because that'll be awesome.
let's do it, my friend. Well, I appreciate it. Great. Thanks again for thinking of me and allow me to share, some knowledge on your platform. And anybody needs anything, if you guys want to, follow me on my social, add me as a friend on Facebook. Feel free to do so. If you have any questions, I'm always here to help somebody, man. I'm never one of those like strict agents that's like, no, I'm going to keep it to myself. No, if you have anything you want to ask, feel free.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you, brother. Have a
Take
great.
care, guys.
All right, buddy. Go crush it. Talk more soon. Thank you all. Bye for now.